All right. So, I've got a lot of things to record, a lot of things to edit, and hopefully here's to more. I'll say that again at the end. Um, Quick radio dispatch before I go into work. Schedule's been crazy. That alone could be its own episode on how the corporate culture of right now for delivery drivers and other warehouse ish type jobs, all that, all the stores, restaurants, not restaurants, chains, whatever, fast food, seems to be doing the most with the least, which is usually impossible. But why not try it anyway? Fail, see that we're not hitting our margins, then go back to releasing regular hours and keep doing that in a cycle. But expect things to get slightly more efficient each time. Look, I'm not trying to say This could be some lefty whine fest about how I know more somehow than the managerial class or the CEOs, and I don't want to turn it into that. But on the other side of the coin, there is legitimate gripes of being force-fed analytics all the time, as if that 0.1% that might have meant something financially really correlates into positive or negative sentiment about the business slash job, and that's not even the point of this. So, really quickly, if I honestly had to say, as a male feminist, and it's so funny, I've watched so many other people go through, I call myself a feminist. No, wait, I don't, because feminism leans white and it doesn't this. And truth be told, we always look so silly when the left always cannibalizes itself. But I don't want to act like the right wing doesn't do that, but I also don't want to propagate the left because I feel like I have to compete with the right, if that makes sense. And even as a male feminist, I want to say that right now feels like we ushered in a lot of terrible shit with the culture wars and all that. And the only result of the culture war is that people cling to these old ideas of factions, so they're just going to keep it going, kind of. It's kind of like it's like Modern Warfare 2 when you're in the boneyard and you're trying to escape, and Shepard and Makarov's men are fighting despite, nukes going off, and whatever happens happens, and they're still fighting each other. It's kind of like that. Um, that being said, what I meant by that is this: I feel that back then feminism was like abortions, go wherever you want, have your own bank account, all legitimate gripes. And what it's kind of evolved into, see, because I feel a lot of other creators stick their foot in their mouth when they try to condemn feminism as a whole, and that's disregarding the history of the strides that it's made. However, coming from me, the guy on the inside, I want to say that certain opportunistic people, be they AFAB or cis women or whatever they call themselves, use it more as a sense of I want your place in society and I want you to have mine. And what I mean by that, and it'll come through in a bunch of other videos, I'm going to say it honestly until I'm blue in the face, that it was never really about striving for equality. It was basically like if we were in a pool, it was about dunking the other person's head and pushing yourself up. And how do I feel that way? Is that's because there is no restorative kindness. There is no sympathy. It's all vitriol and anger with certain people, and those people are kind of spiraled out of control now, where they almost indifferent or not recognizing the fact that the party's over. Honestly, if there was a peak, it was in the late 2010s, everything prior to the pandemic. And the closer you get to the pandemic is the closer you get to the public's burnout of all of this, of all the culture. And and I think the worst part is just that women will see that it was never really glitz and glam, even when the guys were doing that. We have this because we just haven't shut up about it for years now. We've been talking about the 70s and the 80s, but now people are even nostalgic for them and this and that. And honestly, like in the early 2000s to the mid 2010s, we used to just talk shit about it because it was funny, because like everybody's been nostalgia waving the fucking 70s, 80s, 90s since the 2000s. But I feel like now, because of digital and social media and all that, it's quantified times 1,000, because you see 1,000 posts, 1,000 attention seeking, like seeking fucking posts that say, hey, remember this, and that kind of adds to it. But more to my point, I don't think that even when the men were like that, or just like suck my dick if you want this job, that it was that much of a better existence. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna see, first of all, no villain or bad person exists in a vacuum. And I think that if a guy gets to that point, yeah, I just suck my dick and beat it. How cold does his life have to be to have turned him into that? Because no human being starts off an asshole. An asshole is made, it's not born. You know? The same thing, like, there's things with certain people groups aren't, I don't want to say they're super born into, baked into. I just think that you do have some things. I don't know. I think a stereotype can only go so far, and then the rest of it is the circumstances of those people and those individuals. Because, nobody's a monolith. Rich white people, poor white people, rich black, poor black. What's that one black guy's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or whatever? Anyway, no, yeah, I think I definitely. And what else I don't like is that it seems like everything that the modern feminist movement has strove for is basically a double standard. And it's like, when you want me to not do something, that's emotional labor. Emotional labor this, emotional labor that. And like, all of it is, you're supposed to serve me, and I have the right to tell you to kick rocks, basically. And everything just seems like that. Like, pay for me, I shouldn't pay for you. Fuck me when I want to, but I'm under no obligation to throw you even the slightest modicum of butt or ass or whatever else. All of it seems like a double standard, and it's coming even from politically correct guy. Now, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. There's a bunch of people that are either moderates or right wingers that think that, like, so now you admit that everything far left is, like, stupid and useless and whiny and gay and unrealistic, and they go hard. I say it's slightly unrealistic, but I could see where it came from a place of, like, wanting to do better. It also used to be so underground, and then once it became mainstream, the same thing with womanhood and femininity, it just got sleazy, because nothing sells better than sleaze, which was the complaint women had about men. But just because it sold well doesn't mean that we, like the music video, the girls are hot, but we are never like super like, oh man, I want to be just like him. Like, no, it would just be nice. Hey, it'd be nice to be rich, not have to worry about what my approach is to a woman, not have to give a fuck, just flash the money. Hey, who wants to come have fun, and who not. But it was never like an active endorsement. But now all of this is just because the intensity around it, post-culture war, is that all of this is praxis. So being mean to guys like this is praxis, and like being a complete and utter asshole is praxis. And all the other male feminists that feel like in that space are either hangers on because they're gay or they already have somebody, and the only people that are left are like the equivalent of like if you force the dog to be vegan, just like a starving, drooling, kind of. Because every post that's ever like this, there's always people that flock to the defense, unpaid, of these values, women, whatever, etc., etc. And I'm not saying don't defend women, but you act like the so-called toxic masculinity doesn't also have defend women baked into it. And then therein lies almost the criticism that it's only toxic when it's something that you can't manipulate to do. And I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but I would say that people use that as an excuse. And I only know that just from being in almost every kind of leftist circle you could imagine. Like, all right, I get it. I don't do protests and I don't do the cool fucking soup kitchens, but I do hang out with them. You know, we do events. We do every now and then go to places and things. Now, not in a while, but then at least a year or two ago, yeah, you know. And all of them find an excuse to create new factions. All of them find an excuse as to why so and so gets a pass but the other doesn't. And I don't like that the other guy gave that a pass, but I'm giving this a pass. And if you were to try to point it out to all of them, they have some kind of reason. You know, almost like a gay Republican. Like, they're just gonna pull whatever reason they got right out of their sleeve or somewhere else, and just they'll just tell you whatever they have to do. And I just feel like this, what I'm hearing, emotional labor. And like, what about the emotional labor of having to shut out your emotions for years, and then you want a guy to magically 360? Oh, I'm doing all this social development in just 5 minutes because he told me to. Like, no, are you dumb? Like, the whole point of being hetero is that you gotta learn to work with something that's not as easy as it is being gay. The door is always right there for being gay. Just letting you know. But I know I don't want that, because I'm not gay. Shout out my bros, but every now and then I need that fucking girl time. Fuck. How hard is that to understand? And I feel like I see it in women, but because they're a lot more socially toned down and they play their cards close to their hand or whatever the saying is, you know, that's not going to be something they say. That's not going to be something they say, but I know you feel it. It's like, alright, you can only hate on guys for a while, and then what? You want to kill them all? Do the why the last man or whatever? You know? Like, what are we talking about? I don't know. I'm on 12 minutes. This is crazy. I just want to say, like, I don't feel like having a bulletproof argument or going down everything that's a double standard, because my train of thought is rapidly leaving me. I'm just saying that it seems like everything that they want is what they're not willing to give. And worse, it's backed with the facade of feminism. It's not, you know, it's not quite. And I guess that's hard to say, because they're like, well, that's just first generation feminism. There's always something to strive for. I'm like, yeah, but can we also, like, strive for not being an asshole? Is that. See, because that's the worst part. I can't say dick. Because a bitch or a dick, because both guys and girls love being called dicks or bitches, and they think that's so fucking cool. You only call me that because you can't control me. That's what the girls say, and the guy's like, yeah, and I don't care. And it's like, no, you're just an ass. You're an ass. You're just an ass. You know, I feel like Scotty from Austin Powers. You're an ass. Nice, you ass. You know, like, just. Because how silly is that? Now, granted, I do find that respectable in that people you can't control, they do whatever they do their thing. But, like, no, there's also common courtesy. Fuck you. Fuck off. But yeah, no, really, really think about it, honestly. And this is not an endorsement of, like, the 1950s return with the V, return to, like, trad values. Dude, the 1950s economically was like a miracle that it probably won't happen again, because now the wars are way more destructive and we have nukes. At the end of World War II, we were barely developing atomic. Do you know what we could do now, electronic warfare and everything wise, biological wise, all the stuff we've been up to? Yeah, no, the rebuild of World War II was nice. That was the nice one, because bombs and rockets were. Well, bombs were pretty developed, but rockets were in their infancy. Now, what do you got? Like, yeah, sturdier buildings, but man, these missiles and these weapons, tow-guided missiles, AGTMs, and other missiles, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? Like, it is not the same, and there will not be that many survivors. Like, in World War II, you're lucky. Like, they built us a bunker. Let's get down there now. But like now, you bend over and kiss your ass goodbye if this J-Dam hits the fucking apartment block. But that's not what I was trying to say. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that just don't be so two-faced. Don't be so, like, you're not gonna get anything for zero. That's what we tell the guys. Why do we tell the guys to come and show out and do all this as if money grows on trees or his time replenishes? Like, dude, we're all dying. We're all dying and time is limited. And unfortunately, in this capitalistic system, it will reward me for getting older and you're gonna hit the wall. I don't like that that's how it is, but until the quote-unquote revolution happens, that's how it is gonna be. So you can do all these 40 is the new 30, but unfortunately the commodification will tell you otherwise. I don't like that, but that is why I tell you to stop being such a stuck-up prude. Fuck. And if you think your man, think about it like this: if you think your man doesn't complain, it's just because he's not telling you. It's like hanging out with black people. You're never gonna get an honest black person's opinion unless you're actually fucking black. So don't assume that you know them or that you know what I mean, whatever. And that doesn't mean turn into a fucking racist dummy. That just means, you know, it's one of those things. You know what I mean? Fuck. I guess I'm on the most legendary 16-minute rant. Honestly, though, like, inside feminism, I have a bigger video coming soon. God willing, I edit all these videos. Praise the Lord. Christ is King. Ave Christus Rex, whatever. No, but I have a lot on the back burner I need to edit and things like that. And honestly, I hope I get it done. But yeah, no, I mean, think about it. Really think about it. If you're still listening by this point, I have to give my hat off to you. I'm just babbling at this point. But I also like that other parts of YouTube is... It's nice to babble. I'm not looking to get anything out of this. You see the likes in these videos. They're very sparse, far and few between. But I know that if you're ever a good artist or a good person worth their salt, you usually get the Van Gogh treatment. Unless you're good at marketing, then you don't. What was I gonna say? Yeah, no, think about it. Emotional labor, and it's so bad to clean around the house and have to cook food. Like, what the fuck? Are you at the warehouse? Are you on the job site? Are you at the fucking vehicle delivery place? Are you fucking making cement pipes or whatever the fuck? Are you crunching the fucking Excel sheets and having to deal with fucking swinging dicks or whatever? Like, look, women like to emphasize their struggle, and that struggle is the fact that like they don't really know who their friends are. But you ever been a guy? Everything is like 0 to 100 real quick. Squash that beef or it'll turn into a fight. Squash that conflict or you guys will be in both of you guys will be in HR. Like, it's just pure aggression, pure 100 all the time as a guy. Even if you're a shut-in, that's also pure 100, because then you go out into the world and the next guy doesn't give you a fucking break, even though you're both guys, because there is no break. Fuck you. And like, you know, you will be judged accordingly on that. And like that kind of girl code that women kind of have, men completely don't. But I'll say it in other videos, I think that's both good and bad, because this idea that we're all united is false. People hate each other and compete with each other all the time. I don't like it, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, you know what? Just food for thought. You know what I mean? Like, emotional labor and cleaning up a house and like doing all that. It's not the same as nobody caring about you till you get a wife and kids. And then when you do, guess what happens? That wife and kid become way more important than you. You know why you're important? Because you're the husband or the father. But you're not important because you're you. The only person you're important to because you're you is your immediate family. Everybody else, fuck off. If you have cousins that at least kind of interact with you, you should consider that good and call it a day. Because other than that, nobody's obligated to hang out with you. And that's the painful reality. So like, if you're struggling with something heavy, nobody wants to be gay and help you. I mean, I think people are more good Samaritans than we think, and they will, but it's certainly not the same as if a girl is. Although now, considering the way that some of them act, it kind of ruins it for the rest of them. And food for thought. Again, all I can say. You guys have a good one.